and we have the knowledge and experience to make it happen. We offer professional, affordable web design, mobile responsive websites, search engine optimization, social media marketing, web video and promotions, online advertising, and more. Whether it's time for a redesign or whether you want to kickstart your existing website, let us help. Mention WOCA and we'll give you a free, no-obligation search engine optimization report for your website. This free report will give you practical steps to increase your search ranking. It's our gift to you from Brick City Interactive. Call us today at 352-351-1131 or visit us online at brickcity.com.
Today, rather cloudy and seasonably warm. High getting up to 88 to 94. For tonight, cloudy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. Low 67 to 72. Cloudy day for tomorrow, couple of showers and a thunderstorm. High 71 to 85. Thursday night, rather cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm in spots. Low 66 to 70. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Kevin Snyder.
WOCA.
Ocala. I'm Jan from Palm Garden. The well-being and safety of our residents is our top priority and at the heart of every decision we make. There are no visitors permitted in our center, but family members are encouraged to reach out by phone or Skype, Facebook or FaceTime. Everyone is screened daily and wears a mask. New guests are tested and quarantined for 14 days. The response to these measures has been overwhelmingly positive. Thank you for your support and partnership. We are Palm Garden.
Shamrock Security Systems, 629-3223. Shamrock Security Systems is located here in Ocala, Florida. Shamrock Security Systems is a top-rated alarm company offering 24/7 monitoring, video surveillance, fire and flood protection. You'll sleep a little better once the job is done. Shamrock Security Systems for over 31 years. 629-3223. Get a 100% free quote from Shamrock Security. 629-3223.
Hey, this is Matt from Crossroad Auto Sales. I want to invite you to come over and check out our vehicles. All of our vehicles at Crossroad Auto Sales go through a rigorous 100-point safety inspection. We work with most outside finance companies, and we even have in-house financing available. Stop by today at 1800 Northwest 10th Street or give me a call at 690-6695. That's 690-6695. Crossroad Auto Sales. We won't leave you stranded at the crossroad.
The Paycheck Protection Program under the CARES Act provides 100% federally guaranteed loans to small businesses. Available to businesses with fewer than 500 employees. Funds can be used towards payroll costs, rent, utilities, and interest on mortgages. Small businesses are encouraged to get, gather, and go. Get informed by visiting getgathergo.com. There you can gather the needed information and go apply as soon as the SBA program opens with local lenders. For info, visit getgathergo.com to get your business ready to apply.
WOCA.
Today, rather cloudy and seasonably warm. High getting up to 88 to 94. For tonight, cloudy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. Low 67 to 72. Cloudy day for tomorrow, couple of showers and a thunderstorm. High 71 to 85. Thursday night, rather cloudy with a shower or thunderstorm in spots. Low 66 to 70. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm Kevin Snyder.
Listening to AM Ocala Live, WOCA, The Source, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, broadcasting to you live from the Paddock Mall, streaming live, YouTube Live, WOCA, The Source Radio. As we just wrapped up with our segment with On Top of the World, as we had Robert Colin in with the Director of Fitness at On Top of the World, Cammie Dennis, talking about some really good things, positive things about what you can do to stay active during this world pandemic as we continue to deal with COVID-19. COVID-19. And now that we're smack dab in the middle of the month, hopefully seeing where we can see ourselves by the end of the week, and then by the end of the month to maybe get back to some normalcy as we talk about with May. But now, as we are coming up 20 minutes before the top of the hour, we have in the studio, which I'm pleased to have him here, we have Marion County Sheriff Billy Woods. Good morning, partner. How you doing today?
Doing good, Adam. Glad to be here with you.
Absolutely. We got you in here for the first time that I've had the privilege of kind of having you in the studio to do a little interview and stuff. And as we were talking off air, just a little bit to kind of get the conversation going, is the idea of bringing you in for a little advice within the community and kind of giving your guys' perspective of what you've been doing law enforcement wise and what's been going on with the county, all in the avenue of this COVID-19 pandemic and stuff, but then also to kind of see where our conversation goes or directs. But like I said, it's glad to have you here. And how have things been going here recently?
You know, things are going just fine. Obviously, everybody should be concerned and worried about COVID-19 and all of the precautions. I'll start with encouraging our community to ensure that they follow these social distancing guidelines that the CDC puts out. You know, this not being in groups, you know, especially people want to do parties, you know, and they want to bring them into the house and go out and do things, and they need to limit it, and they need to follow these guidelines, and because we don't want it to continue to spread. And I encourage people to follow the executive orders of the governor. You know, the governor's doing the best he can and giving the information, just like any CEO of any major thing that's going on. You take the information and try to make the best decisions. But these guidelines are out there to protect us all, okay?
Right.
You know, especially our elderly, you know, our senior citizens in the community who are probably the most vulnerable. And, you know, you've seen the guidelines in CDC, 65 plus are the ones that, you know, they kind of say that's concerning for. And
we have so many of those within our county in itself with the retirement.
Especially right here where y'all are at, along State Road 200.
Right.
And it's a very big community, and we need to protect them. And now, you know, for us in law enforcement, you know, our jobs doesn't stop. And I've been asked this question a lot of times in meetings and talk about this. For us, we don't get to stop what we're doing. Okay.
Right.
There's no breaks to crime. Crime is continuing. Crime is still being committed. Now it's being shifted from one direction to another. You know, and we've already seen it. I had a crime stat meeting yesterday regards to residential burglaries are beginning to decrease. The reason is everybody's home. Okay. So, and there's other areas where the crime is beginning to increase. Frauds, you know, they take advantage of it, especially again on our seniors.
Right.
The frauds are in there. But for us in law enforcement, simply put, welcome to our world.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
We get exposed to so many things, diseases. You know, I'll give you an example. Probably one of my greatest fears is in my jail is TB. Not COVID-19, TB.
Yeah.
TB has it's an airborne, first of all.
Right.
But these are the things that we face on a regular, daily basis.
Yeah.
If people think about it for me, you're law enforcement, because when we get into the moment where we have to arrest somebody or somebody's violent, we don't get to hold our hand up, push a pause button, say, hey, hold on for a minute, let me go back to my car, let me put this on, let me put that on. We get exposed to it on a daily basis. I'm talking about from the worst known disease that you can think of to what we have now.
Right.
But part of the job, fighting crime, and you know, I'm going to go back to what I was saying in the beginning. Everybody follow these guidelines. It helps us.
Yeah.
I just told you crime doesn't stop. So if I got to turn my attention because you ain't doing what you're being asked to do by guidelines, it takes away from protecting the victims out here of crime.
Right. And I think that's a great point, because times in lieu of situations like this, a lot of people can get kind of caught up in themselves, and they're thinking about how they're being affected on a personal level, and maybe a little selfish in the idea that, like, oh, well, I've got to go through this, I'm dealing with this, and you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do, even though they're guidelines, what I want to do because I'm me.
Right.
And what you're saying is there's consequences to those actions, not just like we said with the congregating to not follow social distancing and possibility getting somebody sick, but what you're saying too is you're taking resources away where it matters.
That's absolutely right.
And that's what sometimes is important to, like when I said off air, is to kind of bring certain perspectives to the conversation. That's one that I don't think a lot of people hear about too often is, like I said, it's more about like, well, how we're affected or what I'm doing or what I can't do, or, well, hold on a minute. Well, just by you trying to do what you want to do, you're taking resources away where it could be better for. And,
absolutely.
And that's a huge thing that every now and then I think we need to get reminded of that.
We do. And it's not just law enforcement. It's also your paramedics, EMS,
exactly.
hospitals. Think about this. Normal diseases, normal ailments, everything else doesn't get put on hold.
No.
Okay, folks? It doesn't stop. And that's what's kind of disheartening is people out there and doing this for selfish reasons. Mm-hmm. You know, and I agree with you. You get cooped up. We're a very social society.
Right.
Especially in the state of Florida. Because we love, obviously we love our tourists. We love people coming here. We go to the beaches. We do all kinds of activity because the state is beautiful. Yeah. And to constrain us, oh my goodness. That's like trying to hold back a little firecracker and it ain't going to happen. But however, if we follow those, you're protecting a whole gambit of things more than just passing it on, you know, and that's where people have just got to think.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, too, I was going to ask, like you said, none of this really kind of stops, but you do have to adapt to the situation. Can you talk a little bit about what you guys have done, since the beginning of March when this was really getting put out there that we were going to have to do something like a quarantine? What did you guys do as a sheriff's office to kind of adapt to the circumstances that were at hand?
Well, one of the biggest things is obviously people like to see law enforcement when you make that phone call, whatever it might be, because you're in an argument with your neighbor or you've got other things that you need law enforcement there. And they like to see the uniform come. Yeah. Okay, they really do. And one of the things we had to change, we had to curtail us responding to certain calls. Okay. We have to say, this is what we have to do. We can take this report online, by phone. I can talk to you on phone. It doesn't require me to be there. There's certain crimes that do.
Of course.
That we have to come because we have to collect evidence. And it has to be put into evidence for future, if we catch the bad guy, for courts and all of that. Department-wide, just like probably any other business, we put precautions in place of, hand sanitizers, washing down, cleaning. My district offices, one of the advantages of each of my district offices, and even my main office, the barrier between the secretaries and when they come in contact, there's a barrier that helps protect my employees and helps protect the citizens that come in.
Of course.
And we try to limit that. Now, there's certain things that we don't have a choice, that people we have to make contact with, that are required by law, just like your registered sex offenders. They have to register, and they have to come to the building. We have to take that information. There's other things that law requires us. We can't get around it just because of COVID-19, and it has to be done. So those are some of the measures. Now the jail is probably one of the biggest one, and I hear it out here, and you probably have too. You hear this cry about the inmates, okay?
Right.
And there is a concern, so don't take me the wrong way.
Absolutely.
There is a concern about the inmates in there, but I'm here to tell you they're probably in the safest place there is.
Right.
Because the jails, around the state of Florida, now at this moment, I can tell you this, there's only been one case in all the jails in the state of Florida, only one case.
Is that right?
And it's not Marion, but that's pretty good, okay? Because it is clean. It's always sanitized. We're always washing hands. And I mentioned to you earlier, one of the biggest concerns is TB. Yeah. MRSA's another concern in a jail.
Yeah.
So we've already had stuff in place
to
prevent this.
Gotcha.
Now, our fear is somebody coming in.
Of course.
A lot of measures we put in place. We've limited visitations. We limited, the access by, let's say, attorneys coming in. There's certain rules and guidelines, and they have to be checked. They have to be temperature checked, and all that stuff is done before they enter the jail. And those inmates are protected. And I can tell you this, and I'll go off on a topic because I know the questions come up because I got a report from the Florida Sheriff's Association about groups wanting to release inmates. There's absolutely no reason to do it. None. Right now, across the state of Florida, there's a 16% decrease in the jail populations, not because we have booted people out of the jail. It's just because we've taken other measures before they coming in there, whatever other programs, or we're trying to divert them to other programs to help us so that it doesn't come in.
Right.
But I'm here to tell you, unless it's the second coming of Christ, they ain't going to leave my jail until they serve their sentence.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And, like you said, I think that was a good point when you touched upon, like, you guys already kind of plan for the expectations of a confined space with a lot of people.
We do.
So you already kind of handle that in a way. And I think when people have a lot of time on their hands, like they've had lately, they start to render the direction of where things could be, brought up more so with COVID-19 and who could be affected, and not necessarily to be a nuisance, but maybe get conversation going about, like, well, what are they doing here, or what are they doing there? And that's part of the reason to have you on also, is to kind of set that kind of straight, just like you did. And I think people need to be aware of that too. Just like you said, there's stuff that you guys already have implemented because it's a confined space with a lot of people. So that's there to reassure everybody who maybe had that concern, which is good.
That is an excellent point, Adam. A lot of people don't know. And it's... If it's not your normal, you don't know about it, and all of a sudden you're forced in it, just like you said, everybody's forced, and you got all this time.
Yeah.
And my inmates have all the time in the world to come up with stuff. So you're beginning to fill their life in a little bit of saying, I get there, I think I can solve this problem in the world and that problem in the world. But however, we do. There's measures in place. There's things that we do that we have always done.
Yeah.
And prepared for this. And I look at it, I have been in some meetings, and I see folks that, if you call it sort of in a panic mode, but a lot of times these individuals, they've been in their own little box.
Yeah.
And they've never had to face a crisis, a true crisis. Now, us and first responders, especially us in law enforcement, and even our military, okay, that's our job.
Yeah, that's what you're trained for. That's what you
exactly
signed up
right.
for. Right.
And we're prepared for it. And when it comes, it's like, okay, we got it.
Yeah.
We'll handle this.
Exactly.
So, and you mentioned it, if something else comes up, we have to take a different path, then by golly, we'll do it. We'll adapt to the situation, change it for the betterment of not only our employees, but for our community.
Right.
For sure.
Right. And that's why I wanted to ask that question, because, at the end of the day, everybody's had to do something to adapt to the situation. And I think a lot of times when you have, like I said, the time on your hand, you start to look at different avenues, or people start to look in different directions where they haven't looked in a while. And when they read something in the media and it drums up some kind of emotion, and now they have the time on their hands, they start to put some of those things under the microscope. In a way, this is almost, and I know you guys do, and I know with the position you're in, you always have to look at the worst case scenario, but then the most positive outcome and the silver linings. Because if you didn't, there would be no problem solving or the means to the end. So when you look at what we're talking about, with maybe people now drumming up some emotions from an article that gets them thinking about, well, what are they doing in law enforcement, or this is a good time to say, like, hey, now you see the light of day with what we deal with every day, and you're almost here to say, like, for those concerned, is like, we deal this with on a daily basis. This is what we're trained for. This is what we sign up for. And almost like, thank you for the consideration of taking a moment to keep us in the thoughts now. And I think a lot of everything I'm trying to do with this radio show now in lieu of the pandemic is I felt for a while that I wanted to completely divert the conversation of COVID-19 because it's oppressive, right?
Yes.
But you know what? To the beast, the burden, I thought, well, how about I got to accept it. There was a point, I remember there was a day I was doing a show. It was a Wednesday because it was in the middle of the week, and I was just kind of over the coronavirus crisis. But I was like, you know what? Let me adapt. Let me just welcome it, and then start to use that as a way to kind of invoke the conversation in certain directions. And here now, having you in the studio, what a different perspective. That's what I was looking forward to, because like we were just saying, a lot of people, they don't know that, or now they're taking a look at it because they might not have nothing else to do. So with that, that's a good thing. So I'm glad to have that conversation with you, partner. Because even for myself too, even some things within this seat that I do now, I have to turn my attention to certain things that I would never have turned attention to begin with. Like if it's sports, I'm on it. If it's flying, I'm on it. If it's the impacts of COVID-19 within the jail cells of the inmates for the local county sheriff department. Not interested.
I know.
Not interested nonetheless. But it's really good to have you here for that. And I wanted to touch upon, I just read this article today that was drummed up from yesterday, and you're quoted on here for it as we were just talking about some things that had changed within the crime within the county. And this was some good news, as the number of major crimes reported in Marion County during 2019 was 5.7% lower than the number reported in 2018. And I think that's where we look for a positive thing, or look at the silver lining of things. I think that's something to mention too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the hard work.
Yeah. And, of course, what we're looking at is major crimes. People can always come and drum up an argument of such. But when we look at the expectations of the serious stuff of the rape, the burglary, and the larceny, it's dropped. And within a year, like you said, that's a lot of hard work that you guys put in there. Did you want to touch upon that at all? Is there anything you wanted to?
I'm proud of all of the men and women in my office.
Yeah.
They work hard every single day to protect the citizens of Marion County. And this is part of it. And they even do it when it's on its rise. They get focused. They come up with ideas. Okay, we've got a problem. How do we address it? How do we reduce it? There are some crimes that I don't care what we come up with, we're not going to prevent it because it's human nature. And I can only go so far into a person's home. Domestic violence is an example. Domestic violence is something that you try to put awareness out there. You try to tell these victims, don't continually be a victim. But it comes down to they're the ones that make the choice of staying with those people.
Of course.
And it's sad, and it breaks the heart, because you try to do so much for them. But the positive is that the enforcement, the proactive, the work that the men and women are doing out there is making a difference in the community.
Yeah, this is proof of it. This is showing that.
But because I promise you, I'll get it. Somebody either by your social media or my social media will come on and say, "Well, you ain't done nothing over here in my community. You ain't coming in here." I usually answer people like this: "You ever been fishing?" The answer is usually yes, and I say, "Well, do you catch all the fish in the pond?" The answer is no. No, I can't. Listen, I only have so many people, and I can only do so much, and we try our best to catch every fish, every bad guy that's out there, but there's a bunch of them that get away.
Right.
But their day will come.
Right.
That we do catch them.
Right. And that's the whip. That's the work in progress.
That's exactly right.
And that's because, you would love a day. You would love a day where you show up to the office and they're like, nothing to worry about.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody just decided to stand down with crime today. That'd be that'd be a day you'd go fishing.
That's exactly right. Go do the real fishing.
Excellent, partner. Well, on that note, we are coming to the top of the 10 o'clock hour, and just to wrap things up, I look forward to having you back here as we talked about having this kind of on the regular, which is good because the point of this is to kind of bring you in, give us the perspective from where you guys are at, and all the work and the duty that you guys do, and like you said, with all of this going on, you guys still are right out there front line doing what you have to do in lieu of it, and adapt nonetheless. It's a work in progress, and you guys are fighting a good fight out there, which is great. And for me, this is an opportunity. I thought, like I said, I wouldn't necessarily have directed myself to the idea of the Marion County Sheriff's Department. What's it? But that's the journey I'm going to do here. So I get to learn a little bit more, which I'm really looking forward to.
That is awesome, Adam.
So that's good nonetheless. So as we make our way here towards the top of the 10 o'clock hour, I just want to. Joe gave us a bunch of questions that were all over the place. I figured maybe I would tickle the fancy at one. So
go ahead.
So since I'm meeting you for the first time, I just wanted to mention. What was it? Shoot, I thought it was you about how you became within the Marion County Sheriff's Office, but it's how can I become a member of the Marion County Sheriff's Office? Nonetheless, but Where's a good one? How can I meet with the sheriff? How about that one? That's one we'll touch on.
Well, that is a good one.
Yeah.
Well, I'm out in the community. Well, prior to COVID-19, I was out in the community quite a bit. And anybody can come up when I'm out in the community, chat with me, shake my hand before COVID-19.
That's right.
It's fist bump now. But anytime somebody now, my schedule, I can't meet with every citizen of Marion County, but they can always call my office and reach out and say, hey, I'd like to talk to the sheriff about this issue, and it's open. So
excellent. Well, thank you very much, partner. So on that note, as we make our way to the top of the 10 o'clock hour, Marion County Sheriff Billy Woods, thank you very much, partner. We look forward to seeing you soon. As we say to you guys, stay tuned. As we come back, we'll be doing our segment On This Day in History. You're listening to WOCA Ocala, 96.3 FM, 1370 AM. Back after this.
I'm Chris Foster. President Trump orders a 60-day hold on funding for the World Health Organization while a review is conducted of its response to the coronavirus pandemic.